Joining us now, National RNC spokesman Paris Dennard. Paris, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Pleasure to be with you.
You were in Charlotte this past week, giving the keynote to the North Carolina Black Conservative Voices Leadership Luncheon. Give us an idea, what was your message to that group?
Well, it was a pleasure to be with the group. My message to them was very simple. Keep fighting, keep pushing, keep making waves, because we can win these elections that are coming up. We can counter with the false narrative that the mainstream media puts out there and the Democrats put out there about Black Republicans. We can push back on these false narratives and make sure people know that there are Black Republicans out there winning elections, in leadership in the Republican Party, especially here in North Carolina, and that our numbers are growing every single election cycle because we're excited, motivated, and empowered by the Republican Party and are taking the Republican Party to greater heights and deeper depths because we are expanding within the GOP, and that's a very good thing. I was so honored to be there with them.
Yeah, we have our first Black lieutenant governor right now in the state of North Carolina. Give us an idea of how do you think, even if it's just from a perception standpoint, how does the GOP diversify itself? Or do you think it doesn't need to?
Well, it's a very good question. And I think actually the GOP is already diversified in great numbers because of the leadership of President Trump over his 4 years working with the RNC. And what we have seen is the expansion of our back in 2020, our Black Voices for Trump community centers, and now our RNC chairwoman, Ronna McDaniel, put forth a $2 million investment to reopen these community centers. And we just opened our first one in Cleveland, Ohio, a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to continue to open more of these RNC Black American community centers so that we can have a sustained presence in Black communities across the country in these target states, so that when it comes down to the midterms, we're not just going to show up 3 months or 6 months or a few weeks before the election. We would have been there for months. If you count what we did last year, we've been there for years. And that's a very good thing. And so expansion, growth are all very good things that the GOP is doing, and I'm proud about it.
One of the reasons we had you on is that I firmly believe that we are a stronger country if our political parties have to cater to a diverse group of people. As in, if the Democrats think they have people of color in the bag, well, that's not a good thing. If Republicans think they have rural white Americans in the bag, that's not a good thing. Make these parties work for it, and make these parties appeal to a broad coalition of people. That said, do you feel like your party lives by the idea that representation does matter?
When you look at the things that we have fought for over the years, going back to women's suffrage and most recently, when you look at the things like criminal justice reform and school choice and opportunity zones, the Republican Party is a party that is serious about action and not just words. And so representation does matter. Look at the fact that we have a woman who is the head of our Republican National Committee in Ronna McDaniel. Look at the fact that you have me as the Black American National Spokesperson. Look at the fact that in the last election cycle, we had about 15 seats that we flipped from Democrat to Republican. And those 15 seats were won by a Republican that was either a minority, a veteran, or a woman. And so the base of the Republican Party, the people who are representing the Republican Party, you mentioned Mark Robinson, but also in Congress, we have Burgess Owens and we have Byron Donalds who are in Congress that came this last election cycle. And there's so many more women who are signing up to run. And there's over 30 Black Republicans right now that are putting their hat in the ring to run for office all across the country at all levels. And so it's about action. And it's about having an open party that tells everyone, whether you are middle class, whether you are Black, white, Hispanic from the big city and urban centers or from Appalachia, that you have a home in this party. We will fight for you. We will listen to you, and represent you well.
What about gay folks? Do they have a place in your party?
I think there's no doubt that gay people have a place in our party. When you look at the fact that we had Rich Grinnell, who was appointed by President Trump to serve in a cabinet level position as the director of DNI, who was openly gay. When you look at the fact that we have the log cabin Republicans that are a vibrant part of our Republican institution and active and doing things of that nature in terms of getting out the vote and supporting Republican candidates. Republicans and conservatives believe that we are an open tent party, that we want to have as many people as possible join our party because we are fighting for them. We're fighting for their rights. And I think when you look at the things that people are concerned about, safety and security, making sure they have jobs in the economy, those are things that are applicable to all walks of life and all different types of people who are joining our party on a regular basis, and we're proud of it.
All right, Paris Dennard, national spokesman for the RNC. Paris, hope you enjoyed your time here in Charlotte, and thanks for chatting with us. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, more Flashpoint after this.